Hi, thanks for joining me in another video. Nothing says American quite like unnecessarily large SUVs, and the Hummer EV 3X SUV embodies that perfectly. Well, the one behind me. But it's more than just a literal massive presence on the road. This is GM's all-electric take on a super SUV, built to mix off-road capability with everyday comfort and a lot of personality. The model I'm reviewing today is the 2025 GMC Hummer EV SUV, and it starts at $96,500 for the 2X and $104,605 for the 3X like we have. And the 3X power comes from a 3-motor E4-wheel drive system paired with GMC's Ultium platform, giving you tons of instant torque. The Hummer supports DC fast charging that tops out at 300 kilowatts and can recharge up to 100 miles in 14 minutes. The SUV rides on 22-inch premium finish aluminum wheels with adaptive air ride suspension and 4-wheel steering with CrabWalk to help maneuver this massive vehicle. And you can get up to 315 miles of range depending on the trim. Those are the quick stats, but the Hummer isn't just about specs on a page. It's a nameplate with the past, one that went from military toughness to gas-guzzling excess to full-on EV rebirth. Let's go over a bit of Hummer history for people living outside the US who might not know about the hype this truck had in the early 2000s. The Hummer began as a military Humvee developed in the early 80s by AM General. In 1992, a rugged tank-like vehicle hit the market under the name Hummer H1 for consumers, but still hadn't picked up a ton of traction. By 1999, GM bought the Hummer name and rolled out the H2, followed later by the smaller H3. And in the early 2000s, these things were everywhere. Big, bold, and exactly what the era wanted in an SUV for some reason. But the late 2000s hit hard. Gas prices spiked, people started caring more about efficiency, and the Hummer's terrible fuel economy became impossible to ignore. Even the small 2006 H3 only managed about 16 miles per gallon, with the larger models even struggling to get over 10 miles per gallon. As gas vehicles age, their fuel economy decreases. I can't imagine what people pay per mile today for an H2 Hummer. But anyway, by 2010, the brand was dead. Fast forward to 2020 and GM brought the Hummer back, not as its own brand, but as an EV under GMC. It returned as a symbol of a reinvention, trading its gas-guzzling engine for electric motors. But let's be real, at this size and weight, efficiency still isn't exactly its strong suit. Let's take a look at how the modern EV SUV carries that legacy forward. The SUV version of the Hummer EV looks just as bold as the pickup, but with a shorter wheelbase for better maneuverability. The one I'm reviewing is painted in solar orange, a $495 option that really pops. You get signature LED headlamps, aluminum assist steps, a power swing gate, front recovery hooks, and an e-trunk with power hood. The e-trunk has up to 11.3 cubic feet of space that allows for flat loading. There's also a 12-volt power outlet and lighting in here. Also, what's better, one gigantic wiper blade or 3 small ones? Our test model also comes with the illumination package, which includes off-road auxiliary lights, interior ambient lighting, and mirror projection lights with the Hummer logo. Add in the optional infinity roof with transparent sky panels, and it's an SUV that feels as much like a showpiece as it does a utility vehicle. But more about the roof later. It has a ground clearance of 10.2 inches, but with its air suspension can do 12 inches in terrain mode and 16 inches in extract mode. Its overall length is 206.7 inches, height of 77.8 inches, and width without mirrors is 86.4 inches. To my surprise, that still fits in my garage. Open up the power swing gate and you have 35.9 cubic feet of volume behind the rear seats. With the rear seats folded, it has 81.8 cubic feet of volume. On the passenger side back here, there's a hidden jack behind this panel, and there's a small amount of space under the sub-trunk. You also have a 120-volt outlet for powering accessories. A lot could fit back here. The charging port is located on the rear driver's side with CCS capabilities, but you can also use a NACS DC adapter to charge using the supercharging network. Let's talk about what makes the Hummer EV feel like a true all-terrain beast. For starters, it's got air ride adaptive suspension that can dramatically increase your ground clearance. Then there's 4-wheel steering. At low speeds, the rear wheels turn opposite the fronts to tighten up the turning radius, which makes a massive SUV feel a little less massive. And of course, it has the party trick everyone talks about, CrabWalk, where all four wheels turn in the same direction, so the vehicle moves diagonally. Power distribution is handled through the 3-motor E four-wheel drive system, with torque vectoring to send power where it's needed most. For serious off-road grip, you've also got front and rear E-lockers, which are driver-selectable electronically locking differentials. And finally, you've got multiple drive modes to dial in the setup: normal, off-road, terrain, tow haul, and a customizable My Mode. Each one tweaks the suspension, throttle response, and steering to match what you're doing. If you want to flip the script from off-roading crawling to straight line speed, there's Watts to Freedom mode, basically a launch mode for a 0 to 60 sprint in about 3.5 seconds. Not exactly what you expect from something this big. That's what it can do out on the trail and on the road. But what's it like when you're actually sitting behind the wheel? Let's take a look inside. Inside, the Hummer EV feels just as bold as the exterior. GMC calls this trim Lunar Horizon, and it mixes rugged styling with comfort features. However, some of the materials don't feel the highest quality. A lot of the finishes that look to be metal are actually just plastic. The driver's seat is 12-way power adjustable, and both front seats are ventilated and heated. There's also a heated steering wheel for colder months. The big 13.4-inch touchscreen runs Google built-in, along with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so it's easy to keep connected. I do wish the screen were slightly angled towards me and tilted back a bit. It's very straight on and straight up. There's also tri-zone climate control, so everyone can set their own temperature. Charge up your phone with wireless charging in the center console or one of the USB ports up front or in the back. There's also a 120-volt outlet in the back seat, so you can power your small electronics. This outlet has a shared power budget of 400 watts with the one in the trunk. Also available are these auxiliary switches that allow you to connect other accessories like light bars, winches, or other gear. Equipped is the Bose 14-speaker audio system, so you can blast your music. The infinity roof is cool. It has removable modular sky panels that are easy to take off and put on. Simply unlatch them and they come right off. There are 2 removable panels in the front and 2 in the rear. These transparent windows are also made of plastic, not glass, and are tinted for sunny days. So when the weather is just right, take these off and enjoy your outdoor adventure. The back seats fit 3 people or just Kaya. We've got good legroom and headroom for the rear passengers. Before we dive in, let's document our mileage. The battery is charged up to 100% and the odometer is at 3,817 miles. Time for a ride. I'm always happy to see EVs with one pedal driving. It also has Region On Demand, which is activated by the paddle behind the steering wheel, just like in a Chevy Bolt. It's a little noisy, especially with the 3 motors. Having air suspension, I would have expected it to drive a little bit more smoothly over bumps. I guess with a vehicle this heavy, it's a little tough to have it drive smooth. I was nervous at first getting behind the wheel of such a large car, but luckily with the many cameras, I get a better view of the road. Though you'll have to find an ample parking spot because maneuvering in tight spaces might be tricky. Also, the visibility out the front isn't great. I know I'm short, but the hood is high up and doesn't really slope down, so I can't really see over the hood. It's such a wide vehicle that it takes up so much of the lane too. An SUV of this size shouldn't be that quick, but it is. It gives you a rush and it's fun. GM Super Cruise came in handy on the freeway. It helped me switch lanes and stay in the lane. It's such a large car, I'll take any driver assistance technology. With such a big SUV, it comes with some big specs. Since this is a 3X trim, we've got 2 motors in the rear and a single up front. It's capable of up to 830 horsepower and 11,500 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot of torque. With this, the 3X is able to tow up to 7,500 pounds and has a max payload rating of 1,200 pounds. The 4-wheel steering gives this car a tighter turning circle at only 35.4 feet. Not bad for a vehicle of this size. This EV is utilizing the Ultium platform with a 20-module pack. Don't worry, I have my Ultium-ready 120-volt charger. I don't even want to think about how long it would take to charge using this. It does feature a 19.2 kilowatt onboard charger capable of up to 80 amps of AC charging. That should charge up from empty overnight, but with the more common 8 kilowatt charger, you might need to charge more frequently with daily drives. GMC doesn't give a 10 to 80% charge time on a fast charger, but they do state that you can add 100 miles in 14 minutes. They also add that there's a peak charging rate of 300 kilowatts, so that'll be great to see. We'll plot our graph when we charge and see if it matches the same charge curve as the other Ultium EVs we tested. Battery electric vehicles are constantly in a battle of efficiency and battery sizing. The Hummer EV is a perfect example of that struggle. Adding additional battery capacity isn't the perfect solution to range issues. Increasing efficiency is also highly effective. But in the case of the Hummer, it's pretty obvious that in order to get more range, the one and only solution selected was to add more batteries. The unfortunate thing with adding batteries is that you not only add more weight in the pack, but also in other structural components of the car, which lowers your efficiency and thus impacts your range. The vehicle's weight and overall boxy shape strongly contribute to its EPA efficiency of 53 miles per gallon equivalent on the high end and going as low as 47 miles per gallon equivalent. The Hummer was a gas guzzler of its time, and I guess this new version is the electron guzzler of today. It's a bit crazy that you can actually purchase gas cars that have a better fuel economy than this EV. If you're looking to purchase an EV for environmental reasons or for fuel savings, you'll want to look elsewhere. Let's see what we got for range. We're now at 10% and the odometer is at 4,110 miles. So we got 293 miles out of our drive. If we were to estimate it down to 0%, we would have gotten around 325 miles, which is higher than the EPA estimated range of 312 miles, so that's great. Okay, time to charge at these 350 kilowatt DC fast chargers. We started off strong, getting a peak of 308 kilowatts at 23%. It started to dip around 28%, but then slowly ticked back up again at 50%. It then held steady for a while. We ended the session at 80% at 133 kilowatts. Compared to our other Ultium cars we've tested, the charging rate is significantly higher, but its general curve is similar in shape, though at its tipping point it goes lower than the other vehicles. The total session charging time for the Hummer EV was 48 minutes. We had 140 kilowatt hours delivered to our battery, and the total cost was $82.24. The Hummer EV SUV definitely has some highlights. It's fun to drive thanks to its instant torque and even offers one-pedal driving, which makes city traffic a little easier to manage. The tech features are impressive, from the big touchscreen to Super Cruise, and the off-road options really give it credibility beyond just a flashy EV. Add in plenty of interior space and it feels roomy enough for passengers and cargo without sacrificing comfort. On the flip side, there are some drawbacks. Visibility over the hood can be limited, it's nowhere near the most efficient EV on the market, and with the price tag well into six figures, it's not exactly affordable. Its sheer size also means maneuvering in tight city streets can feel stressful. Its weight may even put it over the limit of some parking garages too. Somewhere in the middle are the cabin materials, perfectly fine, but not quite at the level you'd expect for something this expensive. The Hummer EV SUV 3X is both ridiculous and remarkable. It's a rolling showcase of what GM can do with EVs, blending luxury, brute force, and futuristic tech in one package. It's definitely not the EV for efficiency hunters or budget shoppers. But if you want something that turns heads, crushes off-road trails, then this SUV delivers. Thanks for spending time with me today. Support our channel and check out our Kai sticker shop. Kai is my dog. And follow us on social media at CallasEV. That's all for now, and happy charging.